Welcome to the 1% podcast. I'm your host, Alexa, and I have.
Hey, Zai. It's me, Zai.
So today we have a very special guest, Aboubacar himself, the owner of Forenaire. So introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much for having me, Alexa and Zai. Yes, my name is Aboubacar Barrie. I'm a sophomore here at Georgia Tech. My major is business administration. I'm minoring in mechanical engineering. And as she noted, I'm the founder of Forenaire. Forenaire is like a brand house, is a fashion brand house that, is on a mission to produce quality clothing products for teenagers and young adults that helps them look and feel their best every day. Right now, the brand house currently has two brands up underneath it. We have Foreigner Professional, that's like our professional attire segment, and then we have Foreigner Sports, that's our modest sportswear segment.
I love it. I love it. So, how did you start Forenaire? When did you start Forenaire?
Yeah, so okay, so like I said, right, it's made up of two brands. The first brand, I started 5 years ago, right? Or is it 6 years ago? Whenever it was in 2016, right? I was straight into freshman year in high school, where I was 14 years old, and coming from where I come from, the guys at least when you reach a certain age, you don't want to be dependent on your family members for everything. Like you want to start wanting to be self-independent, self-reliant. So I was 14, and then it was during Thanksgiving break, and I told myself, look, this break here, I'm gonna go and look for a job, right? So believe it or not, I didn't want to start a business. I wanted to go get a job. But then so I went to the Greenbrier Mall. I went to my high school. It was Sterner High School, and we had the Greenbrier Mall around there. So I went to the Greenbrier Mall one day during that break, and I went to different stores. I went to Chick-fil-A, I went to T-Mobile, I went to this soup place and said, hey, look, I'm looking for a job. Can you all hire me? And the first thing they asked me was, hey, how old are you? I was like, I'm 14. And it was like, oh, sorry, we can't hire you. I was like, oh, really? Okay. I left the mall that day. I was kind of upset, but then the next day I was like, you know what? If they're not gonna hire me, I'm gonna hire myself, right? That's when I realized I had this entrepreneurial mentality, this business mindset. So I said, all right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna hire myself. I'm gonna give myself a job. Then after the break was over, I went back to school and I realized, okay, what am I gonna start, right? I saw back then my friends they had photography businesses, they had some baking businesses. I didn't know how to do any of that, right? So I was asking myself, okay, what can I start? Then I was looking around at the school. I was always the guy that would always wear the khaki pants, the white button down, but then I didn't see my classmates wearing that. I was more so like on the professional attire side of things, and I was like, this is really important, right? When it comes to like college interviews or business meetings or something like that, you gotta have the proper dress code. And I saw that there was this need, in my school, in this demographic, and I said, well, let me solve this, right? So I set out to create, a high end brand that encourages young people like myself and my classmates back then to dress more professionally. So that's how the brand started, right? And then I was building upon it, building upon it, building upon it, and then 5 years later, 6 years later, I came to Georgia Tech, and then I was like, you know what, there's another need in my community. So that's how I expanded to the modest sportswear line, creating sportswear pieces for Muslim athletes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, one thing I did notice is you always knew your target market. You knew your audience and you knew the problem they had and you wanted to solve it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's really important because here's the thing about like the clothing industry, right? It's highly saturated, and like a lot of people in my community at that time, they were doing streetwear brands and this and that, and I was like, well, why should I do the same thing, right? Like I got to be a little bit different, right? So I was like, all right. They could do their own thing. That's cool, whatever. I'm gonna go ahead more so at the professional side of things. So yes, after I saw that need, I took it and ran with it.
That's good. That's amazing. So if there's anybody that's like, they're hearing your story and they actually want to start a clothing brand, like what's some advice for them or where should they even start?
Yeah, so some advice that I would tell some aspiring entrepreneurs is that, hey, listen, man, you gotta know your strengths and limitations, right? I had to learn that because like you won't know everything and you won't be good at everything. As a matter of fact, it's not good to be good at everything, right? So it's good to like focus on like certain things. So the advice I would give is, look, know your strengths and limitations and work around that, right? It's okay to go and ask for help, right? It's okay to, if you don't know, if you're not good with computers and digitizing, but you're good with like coming up with ideas, well, use that and then go find like a graphic designer or someone to help you with digitizing skills. That's number one. And also I would say like number two in entrepreneurship, like you would experience some wins and losses, right? But don't take those losses and like and beat yourself up to it, right? Because you know how the alphabet goes, right? We take our L's first, then we get the M's later, right? That's how the alphabet goes. So it's okay to get losses. You use those as learning lessons, build upon yourself, and then eventually you're gonna get the M's and the money later. So those are two advice that I would give to aspiring entrepreneurs.
I love it. I never heard it like that. That's a really good perspective change. But one thing I always like to ask people, because we talk about this too all the time, taking L's is just literally like taking a lesson.
Yeah.
So, what was one of your biggest L's and biggest W's in your business?
Ooh, biggest L's. Biggest L's. Hmm. Then I actually, I never actually thought about that one. My biggest, so I had like a lot of losses. Right? I had a lot of, like for example, like when I first started, my parents told me I can't have a business, right? So I had to go through that for a certain period of time. There was like no, because where I come from, all they know is you got to go to school, you got to go to school, you got to go to
Mhm.
school. And I told them about the idea. They was like, no, you better shut it down right now, or this or the third. I was like, man, so I had to go through that. I had to respectfully take what they said, but I saw the bigger picture. So I was going through that. Okay, yeah. So here was another L that I took. So you like in terms of business, like you gotta choose your partners pretty wisely. At that time I was pretty young, so what you call it? My graphic designer at the time, who did my art, he was originally just supposed to do my art, right? We weren't supposed to be business partners, but then he asked, he was like, "Look, I did your logo for you. Come on, let me join your team." I was like, "Okay, fine, sure, let's do it, right?" And then at a certain time, we were business partners, and then I realized like some certain business misconduct was going on. Like for example, like the money wasn't adding up, all that stuff. So that was a loss on my end, not strategically choosing who my business partner was going to be. So I took some L's back in high school, but we cleared it away, we squared it away. That was that. In terms of some wins, I would say by far my biggest win yet, I would say, is being recognized by a major fashion brand like Gucci. So that's definitely up there. And yeah, they gave me a really cool award last year, so I'm really really grateful for them. I would say another big win that I got is like all the new product releases that we released last year. We released our belts, our watches and all that. So that's like a significant improvement since when we first started like 5 years ago.
Yeah, most people are not coming out with watches. Let's talk about more about the award that Gucci recognized you for. How did that even come about?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It came actually. So I'm part of this mentorship program. It's called the Humble Hustler Organization, and then it's an organization that helps like young black men take their businesses to the next level and offers them opportunities and stuff like that. So one day, my mentor, his name is Mr. Lorenzo, he hit me up. He was like, "Yo, bro, I found this opportunity for you." I was like, "All right," because me, whenever I see an opportunity, if it fits me, I jump on it. He was like, "Yo, bro, Gucci's giving out a scholarship. Are you interested?" I said, "Heck yeah." So I went to the site. I read all like the instructions and everything. Basically, Gucci was looking for a young minority in America that's in the fashion industry,
Mhm.
and if they meet the qualifications, then they could potentially win up to a 20 grand award. I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm a minority in the United States, right? I'm in the fashion industry, or at least I think I was." I was like, "All right, but let me just take the option. Let me just see how I was gonna go." So I took my chance, and then a couple months later, they sent me the email. They said, "Congratulations, man! You are part of out of 700 applicants, you are part of 20 that got in." I was like, "Wow,
That's
amazing!"
amazing. So it was out
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
country then.
Excuse me.
It was out of the whole country. Like
Yeah,
people
it was
right out of
national.
the whole country.
Yeah, it was national.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
So
amazing.
I
No, that's a
appreciate
great
that.
opportunity. Zaidi,
No, it was a great opportunity. actually speaking more on that, like, see, the thing is, they didn't just give me an award, they actually gave me an opportunity to like intern with them as well. So like they taught me like the ins and outs of Gucci, like how to actually properly run a fashion brand. It was really, really, really interesting. So yeah, I got a lot of networking done. I have a lot of connections within the Gucci family. So it was a really amazing experience.
That's fire. That's amazing. See, taking opportunities when it comes is amazing.
Exactly,
That's the
exactly.
biggest thing in life. Taking opportunities and not being scared or not being confident in yourself and in your skills in business and going for it, even if you don't know everything.
Exactly.
That's
And the thing is, like I said previously, it's not good to want to know everything. Like you see what I'm saying? Know
yeah,
your strength and limitations. Be good at a few things. Don't try to be, average on a whole lot of things.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Zara, do you have any questions?
I guess my question for you is how do you balance everything with, what you have going on?
Because you do go
Yeah.
to tech, so it's a rigorous workload, and you still have the business too, and you have personal life too. So how do you balance it all?
Well, absolutely. That's really, really, really a good question. I think I'm gonna have to get an assistant soon. But nah, how do I balance, all of this? I would say, sticking to a great schedule, right? I really love my calendar, right? My Google Calendar is amazing. I have a lot of things on there. I put all my meetings on there. I put all my classes on there. And in terms of like the business itself, I run it very passively, right? It's not like, oh, I get up in the morning, all right, 3 hours work on the business. Nah, because that's the beauty of like e-commerce and stuff like that. I put all the products on the site. I focus on my school. I get an order here, then boom. Like it's really passive. It's not like I gotta set some time to actually like work on the business, right? It's really passive. So like for example, I may be in class and then somebody like places an order, right? And then I may fulfill that tomorrow or a day after that. We have a post office on campus. It's really, really like right now my time management skills is really, really good in terms of like Georgia Tech. Yes, you're right. It is a rigorous school. So that's why I prioritize that more because the business comes passively. So yeah,
That makes sense. So that's a perfect business for college students.
absolutely,
Because
exactly.
e-commerce is super passive.
It's super passive. Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so what I always like to ask people and really understand their mindset when it comes to business because it doesn't I know people see the beauty of it and the luxury of it and the freedom, but sometimes it's not that easy. So what is your why? Like what keeps you so motivated and hungry for more?
Yeah. So my why is actually because of where I came from. So I don't think I mentioned this, right? But I was born in Guinea, West Africa. So I'm from the west coast of the motherland, and I know where I came from. I see where I came from, and fast forward, I've been in this country for like 15 years now, 16 years, and nothing has changed. Right? As a matter of fact, things probably has gotten worse. So because I see that, and because I've seen that I came to this country, there are opportunities here. My why is to take advantage of all these resources, all these opportunities, right? Make something for myself, and then eventually go back and help, the people where I came from. That's actually my why. It's the impact. It's the impact. Of course, yeah, the money is gonna come later, of course, but right now, like my why is to like get the impact out there, like positively impact people in my community, not only here but also like where I really come from.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So how is your culture like implemented in your brand? Because I know you said it's for Muslim athletes. So
Yeah, that's
what
awareness
is the
first.
difference? I'm just unaware, so I'm just asking.
No, absolutely. So yes, the Muslim athletes, that's the Forenaire sports side, right? So yeah, so in terms of like how it's called, so right now, right, I'm a Muslim myself, right? And in terms of the dress code for Muslim females,
Mhm.
they are supposed to meet certain requirements, right? Like for example, number one, they have to be fully covered. Number two, they cannot wear super tight clothing. Number three, they cannot wear see-through clothes. So all of these conditions must be met, right? And as you know, the market right now, right, especially in the United States, right, is completely opposite for what is being offered, right, for this demographic, right? And as an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs, they solve problems, right? So I saw this, I was like, wait, why aren't these big companies actually trying to like, cater to this demographic? And I did my research. I saw some companies tried here and there, like the big ones, they actually just came out with a headscarf, right? Or some of them, they came out with the full like set, but they only limited it to swimwear, right? Not regular gym wear or athletic wear, just for swimming. So I was like, okay, there's clearly a problem here, and there aren't like a lot of people trying to solve this thing. So that's where I came in the picture, right? So that's I based my athletic sportswear brand for just it's really specific. It is specifically for Muslim athletes, and we hit the entire criteria, the entire dress code that they're supposed to meet. So yeah, so that's where that comes in.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
So I do have another question. With all the money that you are making or the profits that you are making off of different things, so what do you spend your money on or what do you invest in?
What do I spend my money on? Ooh, what do I invest in? So actually, that's a good question. I'm gonna start investing soon, right? I'm gonna start investing actually this year. That's one of my goals on my list. But in terms of what do I spend my money on, I really don't spend it a lot on useless things, right? So I'll share this with you, right? I personally have three accounts, right? I have one bank account that has two checking accounts, and I have a separate bank account that's the business account, right? Again, three accounts. My first checking account, that's my personal account. I have no money in there, right? And then my second account, that's my college account, right? I make sure I keep some of my refunds in there, maybe some extra money that I have to put towards school, I keep that in there. And then the third account, that's the business account, right? So as you can see, the only account that I really be touching is the personal account. So if I get some side money or if I want to like go out to eat, I use that account, right? Now, in terms of like the business account, I only use that to reinvest it back into the business, right? So if I see we had a good year, some good revenue, good profits came in, I'm gonna use a portion of that and create new products, right? So because before last year we didn't have belts, we didn't have watches. So I use some of that, some of those earnings, and then I introduce new products, right? So that's what I would do sometimes, introduce new products or stock up or more inventory. But yeah, like I feel like I have an organized system right now. I have three accounts, and they're all separate, and they all have their money in there. So
I like that. I like that. I
yeah.
That's a different perspective because some of us we don't really think about college.
Oh yeah, you gotta think about, especially right, like where am I right now? I don't have a full ride. I'll be fully transparent with y'all. So like a lot of things I get is like the Gucci scholarship, like outside money, right? So whatever outside money I get that doesn't go to the school or like I said, my refunds, I just throw it in that account and don't touch it until I really need it. So it's really good to be financially literate. You see what I'm saying?
No, that's amazing. Do you ever budget or anything?
Do I over budget?
No, do you budget?
Oh, do I budget? Oh yeah. So like I said, I barely touch the business account. I barely touch the college account. Now the personal account, whatever is on there, right? If I want to buy something, right? And the thing about me, I don't really buy a lot of stuff, right? I don't go out to eat that much, and I also don't do a lot of online shopping, right? I wear my own clothes. Now I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But so I will often check my personal account. If I have $100 in there, be like, okay, fine. This week, right? I could spend maybe like half of that, right? But I see, I don't tend to overspend, right? Whatever I have in that personal account, I spend like half of it, maybe at the most like a third of. I mean, like 3/4 of it, yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So
Do
I know me and Alexa are we've been researching business credit. So what are your opinions on business credit?
Ooh. Oh my goodness, yeah. So in terms of credit, that's an industry that's a topic that I don't want to get into. So personally, me, this is like religion based, right? So in my religion, we're not allowed to have credit. We are allowed to have credit, but it's just like one particular factor. We can't have credit in the United States because of the whole interest factor. So that's not allowed in our religion, right? We could have credit with companies that doesn't charge you interest, right? If the day I see that, I'm gonna get me a credit card, right? But right now, yeah, and like I said, the whole concept of credit is good. People should have credit. Even I want to have credit, but the thing is, like right now, I have certain restrictions. I can't because of that one factor, right? And some banks be like, oh no, we're gonna give you zero interest, but that's like for a certain amount of years, and after that. So when I signed that contract, I'm basically like going against what going against my beliefs. So here's what I gotta say. Like definitely in terms of my opinion, right now, I don't see myself getting business credit anytime soon, but because I'm smart with my money, right? I got money coming in here, and also because I can't get credit, that's why I'm getting into investment soon, right? Because the whole idea the whole idea surrounding credit is to be able to like get more money externally from other people, right? So a way for me to mitigate that right now is I'm gonna start investing soon, putting my money into like some good places, and then over time I can generate some of that money back. So yeah, I don't like talking about it too much, but since you asked, I just gotta be fully transparent with you.
That's amazing. Is there any books that you have read that helped you, like with mindset and personal development in business?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So let me see here, man. Let me see here. Uh, definitely like this book here, the Think and Grow Rich book. I definitely like this Rich Dad and Poor Dad book.
Yeah.
There's also this other book that I read. I don't have a physical copy. It was online PDF. It's called The Go Giver. All right.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you heard about that book.
I read it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really, 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 really good book in terms of like mindset and like how to adjust in certain business settings. That was really amazing. So yeah, yeah, it's funny because I didn't used to like reading a lot, but as I got more and more into the entrepreneurship thing, like you see what I'm saying?
These are
Yeah,
terrible, but these books are great. They're
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even gonna sit up here and tell y'all I used to like reading. I did not like to use. I didn't like
yeah.
reading a lot, but then I realized, hey, like I had to realize where do I want to see myself in the future, and then after researching all these successful people and their daily habits, what they do, I see that reading is a fundamental component in their everyday life. So I was like, all right, let me start replicating some of what they do, and maybe I can experience what they have now in the future. So yeah.
What are some of those daily habits though that I want all of us to talk about? What are some of the daily habits that we also implement in our lives that are those like millionaire habits?
Wait, are you asking me or are you saying?
Everybody, I want all of us to talk about this
Oh,
because
okay, okay, cool, cool,
I
cool,
think
cool.
it's really important. Like you talked about time management and scheduling, and
Yeah,
honestly, those are the things that really change my life. I mean, I know none of us are perfect. We have our days, but implementing these different things and small things to take care of yourself and your mental.
yeah,
I've been really big on mental health this past month.
yeah.
So, what are some things that you do to your mental to keep you, to fill your cup?
Mm. No, that's really, really good. So you see, me personally, I like getting up early, right? I
Mhm.
like to go to sleep early. I like to get up early. And here's the thing about getting up early, in my opinion, right? No, you could like I could be busy the whole day. I could be busy in the evening time, but nobody could mess with my morning time. Like that's my time, right? I make sure I have no bookings in my calendar like, in the early morning, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Nobody could touch that, right? So in terms of like mental, sometimes I read some of these books during that time. Like that's my peace time, right? That nobody bothering me. So I feel like dedicating a set amount of time, maybe minutes or maybe hours out the day, calling it you time. Like that's just you. Don't let nobody interfere with that space. I feel like that's really really important in terms of like keeping like mental abilities, right? Mental health. It's so funny. The other day, man, I was getting stressed out with one of my classes here, computer science here at Georgia Tech, and then
Mm.
oh my goodness, man, that coding. And I believe it, I'm a business major. I told you, right? I was like, this whole coding stuff is really new to me. I'm like, man, I'm so stressed out. Then I remembered, hey, your your you time in the morning, right? Look, go back, focus, re-energize, and get back in the game. So yeah, so advice on mental health: definitely dedicate some portion of your time for yourself.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Zai?
I would have to agree. I also do the same thing. Like I have a reminder on my phone at a certain period of time that just says chill, like take a break from
I like
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important. I love waking up early, like 6 a.m. I'm up. Let's do what we need to do. But I will also say just reading and just being knowledgeable about what's going on in the world
there we go.
and maybe your career field or things that
There
you're
we go. There
in.
we go. Yeah. I'm glad that you said that because one of the things that I like to have on my phone like one of the apps I like to have on my phone is the news app, right? Because
Mhm.
I like how you say it's good to be like fully knowledgeable of what's going on around you, right? I feel like as an entrepreneur that's a must. Like you got
Yeah.
to know what's going on around you, right? So I like the news app on my phone. I keep I keep up to date on certain things. So in addition to my reading and my personal time, yeah, I love the news app. It's good to stay up to date. What about you?
I think working out is something that I've been doing a lot consistently. I've been lifting for about 3 months now. But it's like changed my whole, like everything, because most people go to the gym to get a nice body, of course.
Yeah.
But I literally go and I'm literally training my mental. Going an extra set or going harder or showing up, literally, I try to go at least 4 times a week, but showing up is what
Yeah, like you. Wait a minute.
but no, it's literally the whole scheduling thing that we were talking about. Like waking up early. If it's 6:30, I'm up. But I wasn't always like this, and nor did I actually like working out for real. What I
Yeah.
did was get a trainer. I got a personal trainer.
I was just about to ask you a question, like what made you dedicated to going to the gym? Was it an accountability part or a trainer? I'm glad you said that, because some people,
Those
including myself,
no,
some
but
people,
they're needed. They're very needed. And the thing is, I had a trainer last year for 6 months straight, and she killed me. But I loved it. Like at the end, I loved it. I went harder. Sometimes we don't take ourselves to the next level. We need someone to push us and show us how to. The thing is, like form and every different thing is so important, but it's definitely changed the directory of my mental and how I am in business, because I just look at it as going another set or going a little harder, or just show up. Like you don't have to feel like doing it, but just show up and do what you got to do, and at least hang. You
I
know,
like that. I like that, man. As a matter of fact, hey man, we need to trademark that name. Do what you gotta do.
do what you got to do, like, because it's you versus you at the end of the day. Like you have to be in competition with yourself every single day to get better, and that's the only way that you're gonna beat other people.
Exactly. I really like that, man. And I'm glad that we have like different perspectives for mental health. So for the audience that's listening, like they could relate to at least one of us. Like for example, one of them could try working out, or maybe they can like do what I do and have their own set of time, or maybe like the news app or something. So I'm glad that we each have like our own different ways of coping with mental health.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for coming on. I love this interview. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you so much. You guys make sure to tap in every Sunday at 2 p.m. We drop a new EP, and Money Mondays every single Monday on our Instagram Live. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you. Yeah.